It's day 3 only. Feels like day 10.
Yeah.
You can tell we're full of luck, I think,
What's terrible is we had such a great day.
Oh, that's not terrible.
Yeah. We're just all tired.
Yeah.
It's going to still take more days to get over the jet lag.
It's not just jet lag. That's the thing, too. It's part of that.
Yeah.
But it just takes a lot out of you doing things here.
Yeah, I guess if we were just sitting in business meetings, we can say it's jet lag.
But today was I don't even know the right word. I was going to say it was full, but it was full of stuff.
Yeah. So we left the flat early.
Well, you left the flat early.
Left really early and took a walk. But we had a good breakfast. We had eggs and sausage of sorts.
But we were out of the flat by 8
Yep.
this morning.
Yeah, we kind of wanted to beat the heat, but we also knew at 8 o'clock Mother's house was opening.
Yep.
So that was the first place we went. We walked. It feels like 2 or 3 miles, but it's about a mile.
Yeah, we put in 3 miles round trip.
Yeah.
Because we went back the longer way.
For that first leg of everything, yeah. So we went to Mother's house.
Which, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's just, it's interesting when you think the impact that she had throughout the world, right from Kolkata.
Yeah. This was the first time I realized, too, that she was here during, when Gandhi was basically saying, let's break away from Britain. When the British actually came in and just murdered everybody. And that she was one that actually helped, patch people back up. I read a thing today where she was talking about seeing just people dead everywhere that had been stabbed and shot by the British soldiers and just were lying innocent in their own dried blood. That just bodies were everywhere. So, it's that whole history you don't think about. It's not just the slums, not just poverty, it was war, basically.
Yeah. And one thing that I thought was interesting is that in 1990, she wanted to retire. And she said, I'm done. And they elected her to another post again, of leading the Sisters of Mercy thing.
Yeah.
So she went on for 7 more years until she passed.
Yeah.
But that's true servanthood, when you think that way. It's like, okay, I'm finished. I'm old.
Yeah, please let me be done.
And they say, no, your work's not done. And then they go back and just do it without.
Yeah, and it's interesting to look at her little room. We saw her bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Just had a desk, like a wooden, looked like a kid-sized picnic table, and a bed. And all was in 6 foot by 8 foot or something.
A file cabinet to keep her important papers.
Yeah. But they had pictures in there of the Pope meeting with her in that room and other world leaders that came to that little tiny room.
Mm-hmm.
And she had that impact through that tiny spot. So. And then
we went and saw more dead people.
Yeah. But our walk to there was interesting. So there's a big political rally going on, right? So they said, George up above said there's about 1 million of people were coming.
And you know what?
He was probably
I
right.
think we saw 1 million people today.
That whole street was just lined with buses. If we didn't know it, we'd be like, ooh, there's some kind of pilgrimage. Because that's what they looked like to me. They didn't look like political leaders.
People walking and walking and walking.
Yes,
towards the
everywhere.
Central area. But yeah, walking to the cemetery. Just like that place.
The park
I didn't
street.
realize where we were, what we were turning into. So once we got inside, I was like, okay. And then we paid for our tickets, and it was like, oh, wow. Yeah, it was really cool.
Another Indiana Jones type set.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, headstones and, lines of stuff. It's
Mausoleums.
yeah, I don't know what they're called.
It's like walking through a ancient cemetery in the jungle.
Yeah.
As you're hearing jungle birds and all kinds. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Get it?
No.
Yeah, that's an interesting place because it's just a bunch of Park Street cemeteries. It's just so many. I was telling you, your brother's so big into cemetery photography. It's like nothing here would be anything like his photography, but because it was like we're filming houses. They're that big.
They're big things.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about the cemetery. Well, interesting thing back about Mother's house
Okay.
that we saw there. We saw 50 foreigners
Yes.
all together.
It was like an English tour.
It was an
group.
English tour group. But the thing that's been so weird this trip, we saw 10 foreigners in a month 2 years ago.
Yeah.
10. This time we've seen hundreds.
100. Yeah. Oh yeah. Everywhere we go, we see.
Tonight at dinner, I'm skipping ahead, but tonight at dinner,
There was only one Indian
There was
couple
one
in the whole
Indian couple.
restaurant.
and there was 25 people that were foreign.
Yeah.
So something weird has happened
Yep.
in this area. But I digressed. So
Yes.
sorry.
So that was Park Street Cemetery.
Yeah,
It's cool.
it was cool.
It's very.
Took a walk back to the. Oh boy, how are we gonna make it through this? Took a walk back to the flat here after the cemetery to refuel on liquid.
Yeah, we've been finding we're all swollen hands and ankles, and
Yep.
maybe it's not we're drinking enough water, or we're getting too salty of food.
Don't know, but anyways, we hydrated
Yes.
and actually ate some of the leftovers that we had from dinner the night before. That's a little snack.
Yep.
And then we went out to meet our student from last time.
One of our favorite students.
Very energetic.
One of our favorite students last year, 2 years ago, was Uzma.
Yeah. Sweetest girl you'll ever meet.
And she invited us to her house. And we took her up on it.
Yep. She didn't. I don't think she thought. Honestly, I don't think she thought we were going to.
Yep. Her dad is
Because
a barber.
nobody's ever taken
Yeah.
her up.
Yep. Her dad's a barber. She said, "Come to my dad's shop,"
Which is their house also.
which is where they live.
And it's not like they have a nice house connected to a barbershop.
No.
She lives in the barbershop,
Yep.
which is not like an American barbershop.
No. No. Her and her brother and her dad. Her mom and her little tiny brother are still back in their village, which was cool. We got to meet her mom via FaceTime or whatever it was, WhatsApp or.
I'm sorry if there's a big mosquito, but just keeps
I
flying
saw
by.
it going by you too. We don't.
But on our way there, that was actually I thought it was kind of a cool ride. But it was one of those things, man,
Yeah.
you do not want to drive in India. We took that Uber and the guy they had great drivers actually here. When I think of what we went through, which is literally a sea of people, he did it.
Yeah.
I've never driven through a crowd like he drove through a crowd.
Yeah.
Literally pushed him with his hood out of the way.
Yeah, it's like all I can relate it to is like, you go to a professional like football game and the game's over and everybody's leaving and one guy's just going, "I'm getting through everybody."
It's not like he was barreling through.
No.
It was he just kept moving. And the police are saying, "Okay, just
Yep,
move."
Keep moving, keep moving.
It was crazy. There was so many people.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Always blows me away when we go down these little streets and there's people riding bikes and dogs and ladies and it's only like one lane and he just shifts and we're doing 30 and honking horns and people just don't push you. They just kind of, I don't know. It's like this amazing dance.
What impresses me though, the guy is driving right-hand drive car, right?
Yeah.
So it's not left-hand, it's right-hand drive car. Manual transmission, so he's shifting the gears. Talking on the cell phone.
Then he's got the other phone on the dash that's got Google Maps going for his where to take us, and he's turning it off and on to see if the route is going to be better
Right.
going somewhere else.
While he's driving around 10 million people. So anyways, we got to the place.
But it's fun. It's scary, but it's fun to ride in those.
Actually, I really enjoyed it.
Uh-huh.
That was pretty special when we walked into the barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
And her dad told her they lived behind a little curtain that we were there. And she took a few minutes to come out because obviously she got ready.
Yes. Yep.
Hi, Uzma.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. There's a lot of people out.
Yeah.
A lot of people. More than I've ever seen.
I haven't seen anyone.
There's so many people. I've never seen that many ever in my life.
Yeah.
There's millions.
Who's singing that?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, you're
Oh,
welcome.
we wanted to. We were looking forward to this today, so. But what an incredible experience that place was.
Yeah. Just a tiny little barbershop that had been in their family for, he said, over 20 years. But we're talking in a building that's, what, 200 years
Yeah.
old? Who knows?
We keep talking about movie sets, right? Everything looks like a movie set from whatever. This thing, again, was like a barbershop. I don't even know how to explain it without picture right now, but
Yeah.
it was not it was an American barbershop. It was,
If no one was standing in it, it wouldn't have looked like a functional.
no, it wouldn't look
place.
like they maybe left it.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
But tell me, what do you think when Uzma walked out and saw us there? You spent a lot of time with her today.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts on what she maybe was thinking or how you felt.
Well, she came out, and like you said, I don't think she thought that we would actually come. So the first thing she said was, just thank you for coming. And then we sat on some chairs kind of in the corner as Mark was getting ready for his shave. And she was just saying how happy she was that we were here and translating for her dad so he could talk to us. And he just kept saying how happy he was that we were there and that, they kind of just kept repeating that. And then she asked if I wanted to go outside. And I thought, okay, I can go outside. And so I clipped on my camera, and myself and Uzma and her
But let's
brother-
back up 1 second. Talk about outside, right? I mean, like, we were in this barbershop, which seemed very calm. But once you stepped out that door, what does outside mean? I mean, what do you...
I don't have the words.
Unlike a scene you've ever seen before.
Yeah.
And it was different than any neighborhood we've been in.
Mm-hmm.
This was our first, for this trip, this was our first time to go into a Muslim neighborhood
For this trip.
Yeah.
for this trip. Which is interesting because when you get in a Muslim neighborhood, suddenly the only women you see are covered, and there's very few of them, and there's just men everywhere.
Yeah.
And they look angry. Not that they aren't, because they are, because you say hello to them and they light up and they're just like everybody else. But
Yeah.
it's a scary looking.
So, you've traveled to Dubai, you've been in the Middle East, Oman, but this was different. Like, this was pretty hardcore. I don't know if I knew what that neighborhood looked like and was like before we went. I don't know if I would have taken you. But I would go back with you again, but I would have been very reserved in the first place of going. So I don't know if that's a good explanation.
We'd have never let her go down the street
I
with
probably would
Uzma.
not have.
You would say,
If I
just
would
wait
walk
for
down the
us.
street first.
Yeah.
But when you left there, you know, I actually prayed, you know, just protection over you for that point, and just, I knew you'd be protected, but go on with the.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like you were saying, like there was no women anywhere. So I got more stares there than I have anywhere else. When we were back at the shop, Mom was telling us about, there's this beautiful mosque that's just down the street that she was gonna, you know, she's like, if you want to see that, we can go look at that. So we ended up looking, and we took a different street than when she took you guys the first time. We went kind of the long way, so we could walk past one of her uncle's barbershops. So I met him, and I said, I just talked to your sister on the phone. He goes, oh, okay. Then he went back to cutting someone's hair. So then we moved on, and there was one guy who, I mean, people were saying hello, and there were things I like wanted to be taking pictures of, but one, I didn't want to lose Uzma because she kind of just kept walking, and I didn't want to have to not be looking around, especially when I knew that one of you wasn't behind me. Yeah, so there was this one guy, and he stopped me and he said, hello, hello, and he was like grabbing my hand, but he wouldn't let go, and he was like introducing himself, and I was like, okay, and I was like, he's not letting go, like, is this where I die? My first thought was like, what do I do? Like, do I just yank it? And then he let go. But yeah, there was a second there that I was like, okay. And that was right before we actually hit the mosque. Not hit it, but was in front of it. And I guess the gatekeeper, whoever is outside of the mosque, was talking to Uzma, saying, you know, who is this and what is she doing here, kind of thing. And then they invited me into the mosque, which I feel like was kind of a weird thing.
Because strange, you
there was
covered.
only, yeah, I wasn't covered. I was like, is that okay? I mean, I was just like this. I mean, my arms were exposed too, and so it was like, okay. And again, I was the only female, and other than Uzma, she came in with me just for a little bit. But I could tell she probably wasn't supposed to be there, or we weren't supposed to stay very long, because once I'd taken a couple pictures, he goes, do you like it? Okay, we need to go. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So, but yeah, they let me in, and I was interesting, and then by the time I got outside of the mosque, there was like a big mob of people we had to push through and walk back to the shop, and then we came in, and that's when she started calling her family and doing FaceTime and meeting all of us, and that was fun to see their home back in their other village.
So she said it was a 16-hour train ride.
Right.
Yeah, 1,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
And I looked on the map. Yeah, it's like the northern.
Yeah, it's just like it's closer to Delhi.
Yeah.
Than anything.
Lucknow was the big city that's by it.
Yeah.
So what do you think her feeling was of having you there?
Well, she kept just saying, I hope you really like it. Are you bored? No. I just hope you really like it. So I think she was just very grateful that we were there, and that we were like taking interest in her, because she doesn't have anybody. So.
She really doesn't have anybody. I mean, this girl, you know, when Mark and I, when we were here before, her dad was around. Her dad picked her up at school. But then what we had heard is that her dad went back to the village, but Uzma stayed behind. And Uzma was staying in that barbershop all along.
Yeah, even her brother was back at the village, her little brother.
This is a super sweet girl in that neighborhood alone. I don't know how she did it.
Yeah, I even asked her, like, do you go out at night? She's like, no, you don't go out at night. So the women just don't go out in that neighborhood at
And the
night.
thing I can't comprehend is there's no bathroom in that barbershop.
No.
So, and she can't go out. What does she do?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But one of the most sweetest people we have, not like sweetest in India, it's just like one of the most sweetest people I've ever met in my life. Just really caring. And
In fact, when we walked in, you know, I've had this happen in other countries before, on house visits in particular. You go in and they will give you whatever they have as a thank you for visiting.
yeah.
And it's very humbling when that happens. But her dad had her go out and get
3 bags of chips.
3 bags of chips and 3 sodas, one for each of us. That was his day's worth of pay.
Yeah.
You know, you think he gave that because we came. It's amazing.
Yep.
Are you glad you went?
Yeah.
It's been a highlight. It might be the highlight so far of the trip.
I think it is. I think today was very impactful on both sides. I can guarantee you that today made a difference in her life. Because I heard her say to you, I want to be your friend. And then when I saw you'd said back to her, I want to be your friend, the look on her face was, I don't know what the right word would be, but it was just gratitude, reserved excitement, unbelief. For her sitting there with you, right next to you, was a big deal. She told us that nobody's ever visited their house.
Yeah.
It's a weird thought. It's just a big deal. So then Mark got a shave today.
I did. So it's funny because we told her, I almost jokingly, went, I'll come in, your dad can cut my hair. And we all laughed, me being bald. But I said, does he shave? And she said, yes. I said, he can shave my head. And she went, okay. That was the other day. So we knew for a fact we were going.
Actually, that was only yesterday.
Was it?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yesterday.
We knew for a fact we were going. But I actually woke up early this morning, and one of my first thoughts was, I really don't know that I want to sit in a chair with a man with a straight edge razor shaving my head. There's just something about that, vulnerability of
the unknown and where the razor has been before.
Yeah. Yeah. But I knew that's what he did for a living. I really wasn't afraid of it getting hurt. I don't know what you just get nervous.
You do. It's.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, he did my face, and about a third of the way through, I thought, this is what men used to do. They used to go get They used to get shaved, right? Yeah, all the cowboy movies, you just kind of went like, it's weird. But then you go, no, that's actually pretty nice to have somebody else do it and do a great job.
Because they get all the nooks and
They
crannies.
get everywhere. There's nothing that he didn't get. And then, then he did my head. and my head is probably closer shaved than it's ever
And
been.
then you almost killed me. You almost killed me. Because her dad started beating on you.
Oh gosh.
So I guess every shave comes with a beating.
It does.
And it's good.
Some people call it a massage, but
But so it got funny because you were like, oh, this, his fingers are popping you on the head, and it's kind of funny to watch.
uh-huh. Squishing my brain out.
But then the head squeezing starts.
The locking finger. This is what hurts when it gets right there. It's like So
he went through like 5 minutes of head squeezing, thumping and like blop 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 on the back of your head and beating your head, right? Which was funny. Okay, but then all of a sudden he whacked you on the back, right?
it's like warning before you hit me. No, it feels good. Oh. Yeah, he like made me lean forward, and I'm like, "What's going on here?" He took the sheet off of me, and then all of a sudden, wham! In the back.
And it was not just the wham; it was a pop. And that set me off, where I laughed so hard that I almost died. I could not breathe. You were saying, breathe.
He's not breathing.
He's not breathing. He's dying.
He's just like a red tomato. He's like.
And I was oblivious to any of this because I was just getting beaten.
The part that really was the final straw is when he snapped the final towel and it caught in your ear.
You're done.
So then I had no plan on getting anything done.
Yeah, none.
And he's like, and so guess what I had to do? Sit down,
Get a shave.
get a shave and a beating. But at least I knew the beating was coming, so it wasn't quite as bad. So I got the nice shave, it was nice.
Yes, and all the creams and lotions.
Oh yeah, and then he puts on the battery acid. It felt like afterwards.
Yours he did quick though. He like did it and then he did it. He just kept mine. He like put it all over me, that battery acid. That was just, and then walked away to go do something in the back as I'm going. Oh.
Yeah, and then he asked, "Oh, I guess he asked Uzma, like, do you want like a facial thing?" And I went, "No."
Yeah. You got him.
Nope, flew away. He went that way. Gotta flex the next
So that was definitely that was pretty special.
Mm-hmm.
That was very, very fun. But it was we had gone in there. We actually brought our Interfit honey badger lights, right? Or light. We brought one of them to the shop, set up because we wanted to do some portraits of them, which we ended up doing, which are pretty incredible. But it created the tension where everybody kept kind of peeking in the shop to see what was going in there. I mean, it's something that never happens. But that was pretty fun. So then he finished beating me, and Uzma said, "Would you like to go see the neighborhood?" Sure. Which all of what we said before, Mark and I, we didn't really experience because we came in the other direction, but we turned left outside.
But before we left, so that was interesting. So you were getting done, and I said, "Uzma, what does your dad charge for a shave?"
Yes.
And she kept saying, "No, sir, it's no charge." And I'm like, "Well, what does he charge for a haircut?" "No, sir, no charge." "Well, what would he charge somebody else?" And she just went, "No, you're a guest. No charge." And then you got up.
Then I got up.
And you'd already planned, that you're going to pay him.
Well, I said we would do 10 times the money.
Yeah.
Whatever he charges, I'm going to give him 10 times
Yes.
what he charges. So we found that he charged about 20.
About
20 rupees to do the whole haircut, massage, facial, all that stuff, which is not much.
No.
So I'm doing my mental math, which is not hard, but it's 200 rupees, right?
Yeah. It's about $2.40.
Yeah, so I ended up just taking out 1,000 rupees. And he shook your hand first. I had folded in my hand. And I just took his hands and I shook his hand with my hand on top of his other hand with 1,000 rupees in it. And he flicked it out onto the floor. And I picked it back up and I put it back again. I said, "This is for you." He says, "No, I can't take it. I can't take it." I said, "You have to take it. It's not a choice." So Uzma is talking to him.
But that whole time you guys were locked hands.
We were locked hands.
It was like a serious, it wasn't like
I was not going to let
it wasn't like friends going, no, you don't need to pay. It was like, I can't take it.
So I finally took my other hand and stuck my finger up in between my hand and the bills. So that was the only thing now in contact was my fingertip. So he could close his hand, and I would pull out my finger and he'd have the money. But Uzma is saying to her dad, he wants to give it to you. And he's saying, I cannot take it. And she's telling me he cannot take this money. And culturally he can't, right? Because it's a gift for a service that he was doing as a gift to us. So
yeah.
I said, Uzma, this is my gift to you.
Yeah, you said, we want to do this for you.
We want to do this for you. And I wanted to use the word love, which I maybe should have, but I didn't want to. I didn't know how that would come across. And I didn't want to, it's not going to come across as a creeper like maybe an American creeper.
Yeah.
But I didn't want any of that. But I want to say we really care about you.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. It's like, she finally said, thank you, sir. So.
As soon as she said that, he took the money.
Yep. Which is 10 days worth of pay.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was special.
Yep.
So then she took us on a walk. Oh my goodness. We took a left out of that shop and we were just thrown into, like, use the word hardcore territory. Densely crowded,
Yeah.
very noisy.
I'd expect if you went to Afghanistan, you would see the exact same neighborhood that we were walking in.
And I going through my mind, I think I told you, going through my mind was like, wow, I feel like we're was the Morocco was one of the places I was thinking.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like that kind of Muslim look.
Yeah.
But times 50, right? Like you'd see, someplace in the Middle East, Oman, some of the cities that we were in, right? Like it felt like that, but way more intense and just super intense. Like people were looking at all of us, including Uzma. They were looking at her. I think they were looking at her because it's like, Uzma is young and looks young, but they were even looking at her. But I think a lot of that had to do with just
why are these white people
with this girl with red hair?
Yeah.
Who are they, and why are they here? People do not walk through that neighborhood that don't look like them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of get charged up. Like I like that kind of thrill type of adventure, walking around. But it was way different than any place that we've been, just because it was so much. So she took us down to the mosque. And knowing the etiquette of the mosque, right? You cannot step on that floor with your shoes on. You cannot go in uncovered. And I couldn't, Uzma, her English isn't perfect, and I didn't know if she was saying go in, or do you want to look at it, or don't go in. I still don't really know what the deal was, or.
Well, she said they can go in and you wait with me. So I thought maybe it's like sometimes women can't come into the mosque at certain hours a day, or like
The prayer time.
Or if she was like, oh, you've already been in, you probably don't need to go in, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that would mean we would have to, wait on the street while you guys went in. So.
Yeah, which I didn't want to have happen. So.
Yeah.
So you stepped up to it, to the edge of the
Yeah,
stairs.
and just looked in a little bit, but.
But we were getting weird looks even at that.
Yeah. And my thing was just that I didn't know what to do. I would have gone in, but I just didn't know the etiquette of it. And you just said, Uzma took me in and we got to walk into the mosque. And then I turn around and she's like, no, I'm not going, and it's like, well, why are you sending me in?
Yeah.
So, but it was fun. It was interesting to just see.
We continue to walk through the neighborhood. I have no idea where she's headed.
No.
And we're getting farther away from the shop, and she's like, so what else do you want to see? And that's when I just said, we actually got to get back to the flat. Because I didn't know if she was just being courteous to show us around or what, but
Yeah.
the honest thought going through my head was, how are we getting out of here today? and taking that Uber in, seeing what we went through to get there,
Yeah.
right? And we ended up being dropped off in a very thick, that's the only way I like to explain it, like a thick neighborhood, right? There was a lot of stuff going on. Not the place that an Uber driver necessarily drives into to go pick someone up.
Yeah.
So the amazing thing happened is that she walked us back to the shop. We said goodbye again. I hit the request Uber. I did it. The guy's parked.
Yeah, it said 1 minute.
1 minute, but he's already there.
Yeah, you pulled up and you're like, that's the guy I think right there. He's dropping a fare off. Yep, and then there he was.
So it was pretty nice.
Yeah, but he was kind of an angry driver.
I don't care.
Nice there.
He got us home.
Yeah. So pretty uneventful going home though.
Yeah.
No, we almost hit that guy. That guy. We almost
That
hit
guy.
everybody.
I was gonna say, we almost always get somebody every time you drive somewhere.
But tonight, dinner at BBQ.
Yes.
I'd say it's probably our favorite restaurant.
Has nothing to do with barbecue. It's
Nothing.
Chinese.
It's Chinese food.
And it's delicious
It's
Chinese.
so good.
It's probably some of the best Chinese food you ever had.
Yeah.
But what makes it extra special, it's like a 5-star Chinese food restaurant.
I know. I told you like twice tonight. It's like, could you imagine this being in America?
So you get this service, pretty cool. I mean, the first time you experience that, like you've got like 6 waiters, and they serve the food for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's not like they just slop it in a plate. They've got this special like chopstick method they use with a fork and a spoon, and they serve the food.
Uh-huh.
The second they think you're through eating, they come back and start refilling and just.
Yeah, there's a guy watching you the whole
They
time.
are watching. They're literally standing around your table watching you and waiting. But the best part is, it is super inexpensive.
Gosh.
Like our pizza last.
We got leftovers still.
Yeah, our pizza was 3 times as expensive as tonight's dinner.
Yeah, and it was cheap, but tonight's, yeah. And here, tonight was the first time that we had, it's only day 3, and we're gonna have it many more times, but where we said, we'll have some rice, we'll have some noodles, we'll have this. Then we went, how about some chicken rice? And he was like, no,
No.
that's too much rice. You have enough
The
rice.
portions are very big.
Yes, that's
'Cause
very
we've
big.
been telling Amanda, I mean, it's like all the time about, the disagreement.
Yeah. What restaurant would you ever go at home, and go, I think I need 6 pizzas. And they go, no, just 2. Just get 2. And they'd go, all right, 6
So,
pizzas. coming
we were
up."
actually kind of excited when he declined my
Yeah.
purchase. But I'm actually glad he did because we had
Too much.
way
Too
too
much.
much in leftovers. So Mr.
Man, it was
Barbecue
so
did.
delicious.
And then we just bought a little more groceries, and here we are.
Yeah.
End of day 3, which seems like it's been a month.
There's a lot today. Yeah, that's what we just said. It was, what's our plan tomorrow?
I have no clue.
What day is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Sunday.
Oh.
We were going to go somewhere else, and we said, let's wait till Sunday. to do that.
Flower market.
The flower market.
The flower market, though, I don't know. Since they said everybody's off on Friday or Sundays, is what Uzma said. I don't know if the flower market
Hello, flowers.
does not flower market on Sunday.
Maybe that's the day everybody goes to buy their flowers. But that's a wholesale market. So.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, we'll have to look it up.
We do. So I don't know. Figure something out.
Yeah.
We need to visit the Victoria Memorial when it's just us
Yes.
without
Get a
all the
plan.
kids. Get a plan. You can do that. That's a nice place to walk around.
Yeah. Even in the morning, we could walk over to the Maidan and the.
Let's plan on doing that.
See the horses. She hasn't seen the carriages that are all gaudied up.
I saw my first monkey today.
Yes, that's right.
That's right. Tonight we saw the monkey guy.
Can you find the monkey man?
He tried to grab onto your leg as you
I saw.
walked by.
Not the monkey man, but the monkey.
Okay. Day 3's in the bag.
In the bag, on to day 4. And then, tomorrow, you know what else we gotta do is
Get all those
these
cameras
have to be
formatted.
gone. We have to memorize those names for good, and we have to make sure our lesson is dialed.
Yep.
And we have to remember to buy vegetables, fruits.
Yes.
So we might wanna do that tomorrow.
We haven't got a new market either.
Let's do that tomorrow too.
That might be a good morning thing, to go to that hog market.
Well, let's pick, because they're two different directions,
I
so.
know. Because actually the Maidan might be nicer in the afternoon with people, you know,
Well, we
playing
got-
cricket.
We got all day,
I know.
so.
We can get a nice kati roll. I know a place in
Oh,
Newmarket.
yeah, I love that.
Just gotta bring our own
Katis.
wet wipes to clean the plates.
And the Pepto-Bismol.
Yes. Okay. It's time for bed. It's 8:30, 5. Good night, people.